Hi everyone, welcome again to Bake Your Way Kitchen. Today on this new episode we are going to make a Bran Muffin, and this is a classic traditional Bran Muffin recipe, and it's very easy to make, and I'm just going to show you. It's an easy put together. Once you have all the ingredients out, you can go ahead right and get started. So the first thing we're going to need to do is take our 1 cup of milk and pour it over our natural wheat bran, and we need to let this soak for about 5 minutes or so, and what you'll find is it absorbs quite a bit of it. And I'll just show you what I use. I use the Quaker natural wheat bran. You want to use just your regular instant type of bran that you have available. That'll work, and this is 1 cup as well. Now, in the meantime, while that's all happening, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, that is 28 grams, and you're going to need a 1/4 cup of sugar, which is 50 grams, and we are going to just beat this in our bowl until it's just nice and smooth. And the softer the butter, the easier it is, because if you're using cold butter, it's not going to incorporate well. So it just takes a little bit of time in the beginning to get it all together. You're looking for it to be just light and maybe a little fluffy. It's not a lot of butter and it's not a lot of sugar, so it should be relatively quick to do. Alright, and that should be good enough. You see it's not a whole lot right now. I'm going to add in 1 beaten egg. And we're basically going to stir this until it's nice and smooth. If you want, what would be easier is if you have an electric mixer, you could use that, and that way the beating time will be not as long, and it'll incorporate better. But sometimes I just like to do things by hand. So I'm just going to continue to mix this until it's smooth to the consistency I want, and I'll show you the next step. Butter and sugar is now a nice smooth mixture. So now we're going to go ahead and add our bran that has been soaking in the milk. And it did absorb quite a bit of it. You'll notice it doesn't absorb all of it, but it's absorbed a good amount. So we're going to add that in, as well as our flour. This is 1 cup of flour, which is 130 grams. And a couple tablespoons, this is optional, of rolled oats or nuts or fruit. You can add what you wish. And then we've got our leavening agents, so we've got baking powder, and then we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to add that in. Now it's just a matter of incorporating all together. Now remember, just like all quick breads, muffins, cookies, most desserts, you really want to, when you add in the dry mixture, you want to ensure that you do not overmix, because what happens, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is if you overmix, you're going to work the gluten, which will give you a very tough product in the end, and it's not very pleasant, let me tell you. You literally just want to mix to combine. Sometimes what I do is I leave a little bit of the white specks of flour in it. That way you know you haven't overmixed it. And we pretty much got it back. And you can see I've got my oven ready, and actually I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, but you do need to set your oven to 400 degrees Celsius, or I'm sorry, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 200 degrees Celsius. If you're using a convection oven, you might want to tone that down to maybe 370, because they tend to bake faster. So this is our end result. So now what we need to do is get a greased 12-inch muffin tin. or you could use one of the silicone muffin pan things. It's easier. You don't need to grease those. But if you don't, just grease or put muffin liners in. And then we are going to scoop this batter into here. And I'm going to be using an ice cream scoop. Put the muffin batter into the muffin tin. I'm using, I believe this is a 3 tablespoon measure. You can use one that you want, so this would be about maybe, oops, 3, close, yeah, about 3 tablespoons I would say. So I always just start with that and try to, the reason why I use an ice cream scoop is because you get a perfect consistency every time. Like, we're going to fill these up a little more in the end, but we're just doing this now so that we have an idea of how much batter to use in each one. Now, just as an optional step, and one that I usually do with Bran Muffins, is I like to add some rolled oats and some raw sugar on the top. The raw sugar gives it a crunch, and the oats are just a nice finish for the top. So I like to just sprinkle some raw sugar. Actually, this is organic cane juice, which is pretty much like raw sugar. It's basically an unrefined sugar. And I would definitely, if you're going to do a sugar topping like this, or like the only reason I do it is not because I'm trying to make it sweeter. It's because the raw sugar gives it a good crunch. So if you use granulated sugar, you won't get the same result as if you use a raw sugar, an unrefined sugar. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of these, just a little bit. I just love when muffins have that crunchy top, and that's what this gives you. So I've added in some of that, and then you can just put in a few oats, a few rolled oats. And for the oats, I like to use the old-fashioned rolled oats over instant because they have more of a chewy texture, and I don't know, I just prefer them. If you want your muffins to look really nice, also having the large old-fashioned rolled oats does look a little nicer. Alright, so here we go. These are going to go into our oven that has been set at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, or 200 degrees Celsius, for anywhere between 18 to 25 minutes. What you're looking for is for them to develop a nice golden brown color, and if you take a toothpick and insert it in the center, you will notice that it will come out clean. If it comes out with dough on it, or if it comes out wet, you know that it's not done because there's raw dough coming out. So I will show you what it looks like once it's done. So now I'm going to let these cool for about 5 minutes and transfer it to a baking rack. And from there, you can either store it in an airtight container at room temperature, or you can put it in the fridge. It's up to you. Or if you don't need all of these now, you can freeze them and use them when you, and just microwave them when you need them. These are very good. They're nice and moist. They're not too sweet. They're a good muffin to eat in the morning with an egg or whatever you plan to have your breakfast with. So I just broke up a piece here to try of this muffin, and we'll see how it turned out. You can see it's nice in the middle, traditional Bran muffin, very good in the morning. Just got back from a run, and so this is my breakfast. Here we go. It's very good. It's not too sweet, which is what I love about it, and it's got that nice bran flavor, and the oats complement it well. If you want, you could add a bit more oats than what I did. I just think it's great. And I could definitely taste that crunch on the top of it from the raw sugar. Anyway, very good. Highly recommended. Definitely recommend you try this.